Tears of the Kingdom looks to be building on much of what made Breath of the Wild great, and one of Link's new abilities is going to allow him to piece together items found in the open world to form vehicles and maybe even larger structures, and that ability is Ultrahand. Well, today I want to take a closer look at Ultrahand, look at the implications for gameplay, quests, travelling around Hyrule, and potentially even rebuilding key locations in the Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. But before we get into it today, let me know in the comments what you want to build with Link's new Ultrahand ability. Well, we first got hints at Link's new Ultrahand ability in the Tears of the Kingdom trailer 2. Link could be seen riding around in new vehicles, although these new vehicles looked different. They appeared to be cobbled together from parts, and we saw Link driving across Hyrule, and then we saw him flying in a hot air balloon, and finally flying high among the Sky Islands on another flying machine. Well, in the gameplay showcase, Nintendo unveiled their name for this new ability, and that is Ultrahand. This ability is named after a toy made by Nintendo in the 1960s and allows Link to piece together parts found in the open world to create vehicles and possibly even structures too. We've only seen vehicles so far in the trailers, but there are hints found in the original Breath of the Wild that point to building more than just machines that will allow us to get across Hyrule. Ultrahand looks incredibly easy to use. So in the gameplay trailer we see Link standing in front of a river, and he needs a boat to get across the river because it is too large. Well, he spots 3 logs and a couple of fans, and he starts to assemble a makeshift boat using his new Ultrahand abilities. First of all, standing next to the log, the A button turns into a grab action, and once he's grabbed the log, the action button then switches to attach, allowing Link to join the log to another log. You can then see in the UI a couple of different actions, so up and down on the D-pad, you can move the item back and forward whilst grabbed, and you can also rotate using the R button, and you can also cancel the selection using B. Link then puts together a third log to create a solid base for the boat, and you can also see him attach and reattach the logs to form different compositions of the boat. Well, needing a motor, Link finds a couple of fans near the logs, and by hitting them you can turn them on, which creates wind, and when placed correctly at the back of the boat this creates a motor, allowing Link to get across the river without having to swim. Well, IGL Numa refers back to trailer 2 and he says these vehicles that you saw there, they won't be immediately available in the game, so perhaps we're going to have to upgrade Ultrahand, or maybe the individual parts won't be available right away. As we progress through Tears of the Kingdom, we're going to be able to build an array of vehicles with Ultrahand and use them to travel far and wide across Hyrule. But as well as vehicles, there's also the prospect of rebuilding Hyrule itself. So in Breath of the Wild, we got a taste of this type of gameplay in Tarrey Town. So once you buy a house for Link, the questline opens up, and you meet a construction crew member called Hudson. He then invites Link to another building site near Lake Akala, and rebuilding Tarrey Town is made up of a lot of little quests that involve gathering items all across Hyrule, working with the Rito, the Goron, the Gerudo and the Zora, all races of Hyrule coming together to rebuild this one town. In fact, they all move to Tarrey Town, open shops, plus there's a wedding at the end between Hudson and a Gerudo who move there. It's one of the most intricate quests in Breath of the Wild, but could point to an element of gameplay in Tears of the Kingdom. Well, rather than a series of side quests, rebuilding Hyrule is likely to feature in the main story of Tears of the Kingdom. So Ultrahand is going to be really important for building vehicles that allow Link to get high in the sky, or get across large bodies of water that otherwise we wouldn't be able to get to. Now, Ultrahand could also allow Link to help rebuild Hyrule after the most recent calamity. We can see in the gameplay trailer that there are large amounts of building materials waiting for Link to use, and while we can use these to build ourselves a car, or a boat, or a flying machine, we could also contribute to rebuilding towns and camps in Tears of the Kingdom. Well, it's been reported that Nintendo developers were playing Red Dead Redemption 2 while working on Tears of the Kingdom, and in Red Dead 2, Arthur and his crew have to build camps and settlements to set up temporary accommodation in the game, given their gang is often on the move. So in Tears of the Kingdom, given that we can grab logs and stick them together to form rafts, then perhaps we could build bigger structures like buildings and even place these buildings together to form small towns. Well, the Hyrule found in Breath of the Wild is dilapidated, therefore going around various parts of Hyrule and rebuilding towns could be a nice post-campaign activity. Not to mention the speedrunning community and what they're going to make of Ultrahand. So the physics found in Breath of the Wild were one of the reasons why fans kept playing that game for years after release, and this new Ultrahand ability is going to breathe life into speedrunning and also give the post-campaign activities a much needed boost. Well, it's going to be great to see just how far the community push this feature and what they can create. So we've seen vehicles that Link can drive on land, plus also hot air balloons and other flying machines. I would love to see Link create a tank. In Breath of the Wild, we could create bombs out of thin air using the Sheikah Slate. And while we haven't seen this former ability yet in Tears of the Kingdom, you can imagine rocking up to Hyrule Castle Gate in a full-blown tank. That would be very, very cool indeed. I imagine we've only seen a few of the parts that we can put together. So we've seen the logs, the planks and some fans to create a simple boat. On the car that we see in Trailer 2, the wheels at the front of the vehicle look like they've got dragon heads, pointing to Zonai technology. So we've seen Link fish larger wheels out of the water, so I imagine the Sky Islands are not only holding secrets, but also vehicle parts that we can put together. Well, before I go today, I wanted to look back at the original Ultrahand toy from Nintendo, which provides inspiration of the name of Link's new ability in Tears of the Kingdom. Ultrahand was made by Nintendo in the 60s and was created by Gunpei Yokoi, who would go on to create the D-pad and also work on the Game Boy. Ultrahand was made up from many connected plastic pieces. On one end, the scissor-like handles extended when the handles are pinched together, and on the other end of the Ultrahand are grips, and you can grab objects when it's fully extended. So it was seen as a commercial success, selling more than 1 million units, and it was also the first toy developed by Yokoi and contributed to saving Nintendo from financial trouble at the time. Well, the Ultrahand also featured in other Nintendo games like WarioWare, Mario Power Tennis, Splatoon 3, and also Mario Kart Super Circuit. Plus it was featured in its own WiiWare game called Grill-Off with Ultrahand, where essentially you use the Ultrahand toy as tongs. Well, I think there's almost unlimited potential when it comes to Ultrahand, but let me know in the comments what you think of Ultrahand in Tears of the Kingdom, and let me know what you want to build. Well, that is it for this closer look at Ultrahand in the Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. And as always, thank you so much for watching or listening. For more Legend of Zelda content like this, you can hit that subscribe button down below and subscribe to Triforce Times, or you can connect with me on Twitter at Triforce Times. Well, if you enjoyed this video or found it useful, liking and sharing the video would really help me out. Otherwise, you can check out the other videos on the channel. Well, thanks again, and I'll see you soon.